Welcome to the Burrow. It's your host, Lala Bunny, head trader at Bimbo Trading Academy. And the topic of today's video is how a gang member saved my life. And because of that, I'm able to be alive today and here trading. So, about 4 years ago, I was living in Southern California. And if you know anything about Southern California, gang culture is very active out there. Coming from New Jersey, I just really had never experienced anything like it before. So I was living alone in SoCal and I had an apartment. I was a special education teacher. I left my job and really didn't know what to do. So I had my family was back east. I was all by myself out there. I had no friends at that point in time. I was very isolated, very alone. And I was looking for someone to like either a romantic or a roommate or friend or whatever. I was just looking for someone to help because I was just on my own. It was rough, like it was hard. So I did meet this guy and he needed a place to stay, so I invited him to stay with me. And he was there for a total of 5 weeks. But what I didn't know was like he had his own agenda. He was trying to control me and abuse me. And by the end of it, it was almost like I was hostage in my own apartment. And I was trying to figure out a plan to get rid of him, either for me to leave, to escape, which is crazy, like escaping your own house. But I didn't know what to do other than call police, which I wasn't sure because at the time I didn't think a crime had been committed per se, so it was like I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to be snitch. I didn't know what to do. um it's hard. I've heard with, police don't take some of these things seriously, so then it's like, what are you going to do if someone's like living in your close proximity and you report them and then nothing comes of it, and now they're going to lash out on you, right? So that's why we don't blame victims in situations like this. Okay, so this man was living with me and things got ugly and bad. Like he threatened to kill my dog, to poison my dog. He hit my dog. He hit me. It was so bad and I just didn't know what to do. Like I was trying to survive to make rent to go to the next month, and like I was like, okay, let me just pay rent next month. I'm trying to work, hustle. I'm like, let me just get through this and then I'm going to get him gone. But I didn't have any help. I didn't have anyone to tell. I didn't know what to do. So, and he was stronger than me. So, like physically stronger than me and more violent than me. So, I was in a predicament. And this inspired me. I made another video about how to escape a bad situation, and this is part of it. I survived. I'm just relieved because it could have gone really, really badly. So, okay, stick with me. Um, so this man is in my house and I either want him to leave or me to leave. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's hard. I couldn't think straight during this time because his presence, he was like controlling my money, controlling my every move, checking my cell phone, checking my emails, like so controlling that I couldn't make moves without getting like caught or found out. So it was like very tricky, very difficult time of my life. I was being held hostage. Um, it's just a side note. Like I reached out to a friend and she was held hostage at knife point. And I was like, my goodness. And I know another friend who was the man had a gun and was threatening her, and she drove away in the middle of the night. So it's like lucky if you have a car to get away from these situations. If you don't have a car, really hard to get away. If you don't have money, that's the thing. You think I would have stayed if I had money? Like I could have just gone somewhere. I didn't have the type of resources to go. I know there are safe places, which like now I've researched. But when this happens to you for the first time in your life, you don't have all these plans. Like, first of all, you don't believe it would ever happen to you, and secondly, like you're not thinking clearly per se because you're trying to process everything that's going on. It's very traumatic, and yes, I have PTSD from this for sure. But I feel good today talking about it. So I hope it helps someone. Also, it's entertaining. This story is cuckoo crazy. Okay, I have to get into it. Okay. So one night, he was sleeping, the guy, and I took the dog for a walk. So I go out at 3 in the morning around that time. And it was like not a good neighborhood. So I'm walking through a shady, shady side of town by the highway. There was like these stray cats over there, and like I'm going this back way and I bump into a man, and he was doing nefarious things out there. I'll just say that. But we started talking, and if he was a terrible person, he could have hurt me right there, but he wasn't. So I started talking to this man, and the dogs that he's nice to the dog. Sometimes people, Again, people can pretend to be nice, but sometimes they're genuinely nice, and you have to be able to read all that. But anyway, so I'm trying to escape this man that's back sleeping at my apartment. I'm just taking the dog on a walk, and luckily I bump into this nice man. But so we just start talking, and he walks me home. We're talking. It's like late in the AM, and cop goes by. We're like walking through an alleyway, and he's like, "Oh, I have a piece on me." And I'm like, okay. And like knowing just what I picked up from him, like I think like I'm gonna say he probably had it. No, I know he had a record of being incarcerated, so he probably could not legally own that gun as far as I'm concerned. So far as I know, it's like he had some kind of firearm for protection, and it may or may not have been legit. I can't really comment on that. So I'm like, okay, this man has a gun. Mental note, keep this in the back of my mind. So I had given him, I don't know if I gave him my number before that or after that, but I'm like, look, I explained the situation to him, like trying to get rid of the other dude, and it's a bad situation, and me making a new friend out here would be great because I don't have any, just someone in my corner, and I have no clue whether this guy is actually, you know gonna help me or not. But we say goodnight. He walks me home. I go in the apartment, whatever. Next day or so, I because of the how fuzzy this is, I don't know how many days passed. But something really bad happened, and I ended up being alone for the first time um in a while. And I invited the new guy over. And I was like, please stay with me because I don't want this other guy to come back. And I was right to be afraid because dude had keys to my apartment. So the guy, turns out, the original guy had been sitting outside my apartment all night. Now the door was locked. Um, he was sitting next to the door listening in on the conversation of me with the other guy. Like he was just like all night, and he brought a person with him to like try to get back into the apartment. Now all his some of his stuff was in the apartment. Not here. I'm in a different place now. Okay, so I'm gonna pause for part two. This is wild. All right.